Why, hello. I'm Andy, and I'm here at Shady Grove Station at one end of the DC Metro's Red Line. Today we'll be riding all the way to Glenmont on a train just like that, looking at all the hidden secrets, stories, and facts that you may not know about some of DC Metro's most famous stations. So join me, ride with me, and let's begin this journey.
Welcome to Secrets of the Red Line. We start our journey at Shady Grove, which was, until the opening of the Silver Line Phase 2 extension, the furthest station from the Washington Monument at over 17 miles away, and one of the few stations in the system to have fare gates on the platform level. But there are far more interesting stations ahead, and so we'll hop on the next train going south, towards downtown DC and Glenmont. Our next station south is Rockville, the first station on our ride to have a connection to the Mark-Brunswick line. Linked to the station via shared underground passageway, it's in this passageway you'll find a rare Metro logo that's missing the system's trademark M. At the station's south exit, you'll find a lobby with a design totally unique to the Metro system, featuring 3 levels of concrete surrounding a semicircular shaft. It's on the 3rd floor of this lobby where you'll find one of the longest pedestrian bridges in the Metro system at over 400 feet in length, connecting the station to Rockville Town Center. The next station is Twinbrook, the only station in the entire Metro system to have just one escalator. And here it is. Next, it's North Bethesda, a station whose name was changed in September of 2022. However, this wasn't the first time its name was changed, as it was originally called Nicholson Lane in planning documents. Its name was changed to White Flint right before the opening of the station, in conjunction with the opening of the now demolished White Flint Mall. Up next is Grosvenor-Strathmore. The station is the first in our journey to feature official Metro artwork. Upon exiting the station's east entrance, the first artwork you'll see is Sonata, a 2017 piece by Jeff Chiat, where the aluminum poles are arranged to align with the notes of Mozart's Ein kleine Nachtmusik. Continuing towards the Metro parking garage and the music center at Strathmore, one is treated to one of the more whimsical pieces of artwork on the Metro system, Arts Walk Totems, 39 totem poles installed in 2016, the handiwork of over 240 students and their teachers from 14 different high schools. Heading towards the music center at Strathmore, you can take the parking garage's elevator to level 4, where you'll be greeted by an inexplicable array of blue safety lights and a pedestrian bridge dedicated to Carlton R. Sickles, also known as the father of Metro. Just south of Grosvenor-Strathmore Station is the Linden Oak, proclaimed a Maryland bicentennial tree that may have been seeded in as early as 1718. Not only is the tree visible from the Red Line, but the tree itself ended up changing the physical course of the line. Thanks to the efforts of state senator and environmental activist Ida Mae Garrett, the Red Line was rerouted around the tree to avoid disturbing the historic oak. Immediately after the Linden Oak, we cross the Beltway and head beneath the surface, reaching our first underground station, Medical Center. Not only does it feature a stunning escalator bank, but it's home to a new set of high-speed elevators, one of the few in the Metro system, now allowing access to both sides of Rockville Pike from the depths of the station. Even deeper than Medical Center is Bethesda, the 3rd deepest station in the system, with the 2nd longest escalator bank at 212 feet long. The escalators lead to the station's upper mezzanine and bus transfer. It's here to the right where you'll find Tunnel Vision, a series of art installations in the pedestrian tunnel under Wisconsin Avenue. My favorite is the Red Line. And speaking of the Red Line, it's time to descend once again and head to our next station, Friendship Heights. If you head up the escalators at the north side of the station, you'll find one of the most unique mezzanines in the entire system, a concrete nave split between both Maryland and DC, providing access to the street and to many of the neighboring buildings and parking garages. But you'll also find one of Metro's few abandoned entrances. a connection to the once thriving NoMa-Gallaudet, which has been practically shuttered since 2020. If you want proof, you can go behind the mall and look at the movies still being advertised for the now closed AMC. While the north side of the station has the most access points, the south entrance to Friendship Heights is also unique, sporting another rare elevator bank, although this one being far older than the elevators at Medical Center. Continuing our journey south, our next secret isn't at the station, but along the Red Line itself.
I'm here on Yuma Street Northwest between Tenleytown AU Station and Van Ness UDC Station, where you'll find among these single-family homes sort of a vacant lot that's currently being used as a small park. The only evidence that this might be more than it seems is a sign here to clean up after your pets, which has a Metro M on it.
Within the park, you'll find a ventilation shaft and emergency exit for the Red Line that runs below Yuma Street. Residents who feared the vent would ruin their peaceful neighborhood fought Metro in court in 1973, delaying construction for 2 years. In the end, Metro got the route through Yuma Street that it wanted. This lot, permanently maintained as a park by Metro, is the only reminder of the litigious conflict decades ago. Moving past many of the Northwest DC stations, we reach Woodley Park Adams Morgan Zoo, one of the deepest stations in the system and the third longest escalator in the system. While its long escalator is no secret to regular riders, what many may have missed is this plaque dedicated to Fred L. Gow Jr., who lost his life during the construction of Metro, while making measurements to improve the art and science of rock tunneling.
I'm here in Rock Creek Park between Woodley Park Station and Dupont Circle Station, where beneath our feet is running the Red Line right now. However, it could have run there.
Original plans called for the Metro to run along, not beneath, the William Howard Taft Bridge, with 2 different designs sketched up. However, the National Park Service prohibited the Metro from tampering with the bridge or the surrounding Rock Creek Park, and so the Metro was buried deep, deep underground, resulting in many of the stations along this portion of the line to be some of the deepest in the entire Metro system. Dupont Circle is certainly one of the more well-known stations in the system. Its north entrance is home to The Dresser, a poem by Walt Whitman, which encircles the escalator bank. A second poem, E. Ethelbert Miller's We Embrace, can also be found at the north entrance by the elevator in a circle surrounding these benches. I would be remiss not to mention that the Dupont Circle Metro station was not the first rail transit station in Dupont Circle. That honor goes to the original streetcar station, whose many entrances still dot the area, as you can see here, 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 and here. The station itself, abandoned for decades, save for a brief period of time in the 90s when it was a streetcar-themed food court, was renovated into the Dupont Underground, now showing unique artwork and exhibitions in the former station. Our next station is Farragut North, a prominent station whose north side has a strangely low ceiling. That's because it was designed to accommodate a never-built freeway off-ramp that would have passed right over the station. At the station's south entrance onto K Street Northwest, you'll find Pulse, a 2011 artwork by Jeffrey Manuel designed to mimic Admiral Farragut's journey down the Mississippi River. This entrance, however, holds yet another secret. The leftmost escalator seen here appears to be somewhat separated from the other 2. That's because it originally wasn't an escalator at all, but an incline elevator, the first on the system. It was dismantled when Metro built a traditional elevator elsewhere in the station complex.
This is Metro Center transfer, the orange and silver trains, lower level, with opening right side.
The center of it all, and our first transfer station, Metro Center is truly one of the most architecturally striking stations in the Metro system. It's also home to the Scenes of Washington mural by G. Byron Peck and Ribbons and Jewels by Hazel Raybould, where the stained glass lamps use Metro's color palette in line structure. Metro Center is also home to a plethora of underground connections leading to Macy's, a Grand Hyatt Hotel, and various office buildings, although many have been closed since the COVID-19 pandemic. And on the Red Line platforms at Metro Center, you'll find Metro's most elegant pylon, dedicated to WMATA employees who lost their lives in the line of duty. Insanely close to Metro Center is Gallery Place-Chinatown, our second transfer station and Metro's favorite station for testing out new wayfinding maps and signage. On the station's south side, you'll find a well-hidden elevator bank with an absurd number of televisions watching your every move. The elevators actually lead to the Capital One Arena. The station's north side is home to the Glory of Chinese Descendants, a sculpture by Fun Sham where you'll find the titular phrase written underneath the fan in Chinese characters. We now arrive at Union Station, consistently ranked the busiest station in the Metro system. At its entrance inside Union Station itself, you'll find Metro's fanciest M, clad in gold, adorned with the flags of Metro's operating jurisdictions. It's also here where you'll find an unassuming entrance to 1st Street Northeast, where one can see an oddly placed set of fare gates, all leading to a blank wall, a wall that hides its own secret. What this wall blocks off is an incomplete tunnel built as a provision for a direct entrance onto H Street Northeast, which is why the fare gates face it. While plans to finish the connection have come and gone, it remains sealed off for the time being. Just north of Union Station is Metro's first infill station, NoMa-Gallaudet University, where you'll find one of my favorite secrets on the Red Line, a piece of abandoned track, commonplace in many urban rail transit systems but extremely rare in a system that is less than 50 years old. So how did this happen? Well, the station is to blame. Aerial imagery from before the station opened shows the routing of the original Red Line tracks slightly east of the current station. The station was built west of the existing tracks so that Red Line trains could still operate during construction. This meant building a new northbound and southbound track as well. While the original southbound track was quickly removed, the original northbound track, not bothering anybody, was left in place, with its connection to the Red Line severed. And so it remains there to this day, a one-of-a-kind rarity in the Metro system, hiding in plain sight. But that's not all the secrets this station has to hold. You'll find artwork by Barbara Gregutis and poetry by Dolores Kendrick. At our next station, Rhode Island Avenue-Brentwood, you'll find a plaque by the bus bays commemorating the site of the 1829 Columbian Harmony Cemetery, the burial site for many distinguished Black citizens, including many Civil War veterans. In 1960, the cemetery would be purchased by a real estate developer and moved to the new National Harmony Cemetery in Landover, Maryland. 16 years later, a portion of this property would become the Red Line station. Continuing north, we reach Fort Totten, a transfer station to the green and yellow lines. On the mezzanine level, sandwiched between the Red Line and the green and yellow line platforms, you'll find that the escalator handrails have been painted, with the red handrails leading to the Red Line platforms and the yellow and green handrails leading to the yellow and green line platforms. Also on this mezzanine is a plaque commemorating those who lost their lives in the 2009 train collision which occurred just north of this station. After Fort Totten, our next station is Takoma, where you'll find From Model to Rainbow, a 2011 artwork by Sam Gilliam, located in the Carroll Street underpass. And then we hit Silver Spring, home to my favorite piece of artwork on Metro, The Penguin Rush Hour by Sally Calmer Thompson. After Silver Spring, we duck underground once more, going as deep as we'll ever go, reaching Forest Glen, the deepest station in the Metro system and the only one that can be accessed solely by an elevator. The station sits at 196 feet below the surface, the equivalent of a 14-story building. Yet this extreme depth is not the only secret at Forest Glen. It's here, walking down the main corridor to the Park and Ride and Kiss and Ride, where you'll find a small side staircase leading to Metro's most unassuming entrance. Wheaton, our next station heading north, is also a deep station. Unlike Forest Glen, however, Wheaton has an escalator, the longest escalator in the Western Hemisphere at 230 feet long, taking nearly 3 minutes to climb. The escalator is commemorated as a civil engineering achievement in this plaque, which you can find at the top of the escalator bank. Exiting via the station's main entrance on the west side of Georgia Avenue, you'll also find one more secret: the commuter, a 1994 bronze sculpture by Marcia F. Billig, depicting a man on roller skates who hopefully won't attempt to descend the station's famed escalators. And finally, we reach Glenmont. It's here where we'll ascend the escalators one last time, finding Swallow and Stars, a 2001 mosaic by Deirdre Sonder, recently restored.
And here we are, our last station in Glenmont. I hope you've enjoyed the journey, learning that not every station in the metro system is alike, and many have some great secrets to find. Now, we've got a lot more lines to cover that will be covered in future videos, but until then, I'll see you on the Metro.